everybody, and welcome to Bits of Board, where we're talking board games, miniatures, cards, and dice. My name's Michael, and today we continue on our journey through Kingdom Death Monster. Today's hunt is with the Phoenix Level 1. This is the first time that we're coming face to face with this gigantic bird of death. Oh, it's going to be an absolute blast and one true test of this and one true test of the survivor's skills. I'm pumped. Are you ready? Let's get stuck in. All right, our first departing survivor is going to be Lucky, and I must say, this is the least elegant gear grid I think I've ever put together. There is not one affinity across the thing, but it is Lucky, so I think we'll manage, right? Now, of course, he's got his Regal placard here, which has the King's Curse story event attached to it, which is going to come into play in the aftermath of the hunt. Now, he hasn't got much armor going on. We've got the lion headdress and cloth just to boost things up, but man, he's lacking a little bit of hard survivability here. Now, Lucky is by far one of the strongest survivors we've got hanging around at the moment. He's sitting on 7 movement, +1 accuracy, +2 strength, +2 evasion, and of course, 1 luck. Now on top of that, he has 2 fighting arts to his name, the Orator of Death fighting art. Once per showdown, you may spend your activation to have all non-deaf survivors gain +2 insanity. In addition to that, he's also got the cross-arm block fighting art, which is going to allow him to mitigate some damage, placing them on the arms instead, which isn't great in this situation as he has no armor at the arms. Now, of course, he's got the King's Spear as well, which gives him some solid attack with a little bit of reach there as well. And to help out with that, he's actually specialized in the spear. So this allows him to, well, it gives us the opportunity to discard a drawn trap card when that's revealed from his attack. We'd roll a 1d10, and on a 7+, we discard the trap and draw a replacement hit location, which is pretty cool. All right, next up, we've got Ori, who has been doing wonderfully these past couple of encounters. Now, Ori has definitely taken up the mantle of Ripper, and as such, we're actually going to be using Ripper's designated miniature to represent Ori. Mainly helps me, but I thought that'd be nice for her anyway. She, of course, is rocking the catgut bow and clawhead arrow. This is going to give her some mad ranged attack, and that clawhead arrow is going to give us potentially a -1 evasion token on the Phoenix. Now, this is connected to a lucky charm, which is going to give her +1 luck there, which is glorious. And of course, we've got our connected affinities down here for +1 evasion. She's also got the Whisker Harp because that's awesome. She gains +1 armor to every hit location. That's great, but it also gives her the opportunity to recover any spent survival throughout the showdown. Anytime she spends a survival, she'll roll a dice, and on a 6+, she gains that survival back. Now this just works so well with Thrill Seeker. Whenever you gain survival during the showdown phase, gain 1 additional survival, and that is going to make it so hard for Ori to lose all of her survival. She's going to be incredible on the field, I'm sure. All right, now introducing the first of our previously unnamed survivors. This is Rain, and she's got a pretty interesting loadout, I'd like to say. She's got the full set of Screaming armor. That is fantastic. But as you can see here, she's rocking the Butcher's Cleaver. Now, this is totally not usually what you would do because you've got to be insane to activate that, and Rain has no insanity whatsoever. Except, of course, when she arrives at the showdown, which is totally going to save our butts. These Screaming leg warmers, on arrival, your feet hurt, gain +3 insanity. Straight off the bat, she is insane, and that Butcher's Cleaver is going to be totally useful to us. She's also got the Stone Noses, which are going to grant her +1 insanity and +1 survival, and she's also got the Frenzy Drink as well, just in case she starts running low, because that is going to grant 1d5 worth of insanity on consuming. Now, the Screaming armor, although they don't entirely mesh with her loadout, it is going to be pretty cool to us. It gives +2 to all hit locations, which is just epic for this set. It's going to have 5 points of armor at a couple of locations, the waist and head, which is awesome. Now we've also got the skewer ability on here, which we might be able to show off if we can get a Salam. This is going to be a fantastic armor set to use. I cannot wait. Lastly, we have Puck, and I was really trying to pump up his red affinities. As you can see, I couldn't quite get the 4 to mesh with the Phoenix mask, but that's all right, maybe next time. What we do have, though, are a couple of good affinities for us here. We've got 2 affinities across the board, which grant us +1 strength, thanks to the Monster Tooth necklace, and we've got 2 connected affinities on the White Lion boots, which grant us +1 movement. Now, the cool thing about the White Lion armor is that it grants bonuses to a few weapons, being daggers and katars, gaining us +1 speed and +2 strength. And that's why Buck is heading out with the Bone Dagger. This is going to give him 4 speed, hitting on, yeah, it's a 7+, not entirely great, but with 3 strength as well, those 4 dice are going to be amazing. Now, both Puck and Rain are brand new into the settlement, and I actually think Ori's the same here as well. These guys don't have any natural bonuses except for a +1 strength and a +1 evasion, and that's due to our survival of the fittest. Actually, I should mention, both Buck and Rain, they are survivors 4 and 5, who last hunt got really sick and almost died. If it had not been for us spending wantlessly our endeavors, they would be gone, but they are going to prove themselves today, or so I hope. Let's get into the hunt.
The Phoenix fills the horizon of your mind. Complex and disturbing, your very essence seems to flicker like a dying lantern. A perfect mixture of excitement and dread shakes up your insides. Before you realize it, you find yourself stepping forward to battle.
Alright, before we get into it, let's have a quick look at what the Phoenix is going to be bringing us. Now, he's got quite a small AI deck in comparison to some of the other guys that are going to be this tough to kill. We've only got, 11, 12 cards, which means 13 life to take off him. That's not too bad here, but his power and his infamy come from his traits. Oh man. So straight off the bat, he has something called Materialize. And when he materializes, we remove the monster from the showdown board and place it adjacent to whatever the target is. So this will be used in conjunction with the AI cards. It must be placed so its base covers as many other survivors as possible, and they suffer collision. So this is going to smack our survivors around like nothing else. On top of that, we have Zeal over here. At the end of each monster turn, perform a basic action. Oh yeah, that's not annoying at all. Actually, before we get to Spiral Age, we'll have a quick look at his basic action. We pick target, closest threat in range, and a couple of things can happen. No target, we get Disdain, which is his instinct there. But if we have a target, the target gains +1 age token, and then we move to the target. Speed 2, 2 accuracy, 2 damage, and then we do Razor Wind. Survivors in the blast zone suffer knockback 7, bash, and bleed 1. Oh my goodness. This is so epic. Now, Disdain is the Phoenix's instinct. Place the Phoenix at the center of the Nightmare Tree, which is going to be in the middle of the showdown board. It emits a hissing moan. All non-deaf survivors suffer brain damage equal to the monster's level. Perform Spiral Age, end the Phoenix's turn. Now, what is Spiral Age? Let's check it out. Spiral Age. Remove all age tokens and gain 4 Hunt XP for each age token. If you gain more Hunt XP than available Hunt XP boxes, you cease to exist. This is an insta-kill for like older survivors, for more experienced survivors. When you cease to exist, if your settlement invaded family, all survivors with your surname lose 2 weapon proficiency levels. This is absolutely so destructive for the settlement. Now, each survivor is also given a status card, which is what's going to hold these age tokens. Basically, a survivor can use an activation on their turn to roll 1d10. If the result is equal to or less than your insanity, remove all age tokens. Otherwise, suffer spiral age. So you're going to want to be insane when you activate it. But right now, our survivors aren't that deep into the darkness of this game. All right, that's him there. I've got his hit location and AI deck ready to go over here. Let's get stuck into this encounter. All right, here we have the board set up for the showdown. We have the Phoenix sitting there in the middle on top of the Nightmare Tree. Now that is a standard piece of terrain for this encounter, but we've drawn 2 additional ones as well. We've got the Arcanthus plants and a dead monster, which we've set up. We've also placed an additional pair of Arcanthus plants thanks to those screaming braces. Now, of course, this is a hunt, so the monster will go first. And I can only cross our fingers and hope for the best here, so let's roll. We draw and we gain a mood. This one is Chatter. So when Chatter comes into play, we draw an AI card, so we'll do that next. A survivor that spends an activation in the noise radius suffers 2 brain damage and doubles their age tokens. That is anywhere around this bird, my lord. Once per turn, a survivor in the noise radius may attempt to comprehend the noise in their heads. Roll 1d10. If the result is equal to or less than their understanding, they gain +2 insanity. Otherwise, they are knocked down. That is just going to become a massive pain in the butt. Far out. All right, here is our next AI card, and this is the difference between us. Pick target. Survival with the least age tokens. Well, everyone has the same number of age tokens here, and that is Zilcho. So we may as well randomize, I guess. All right, so we've got our 4 cards here. Let's shuffle them up. Let's see who he targets. Bang. All right, that is going to be Ori. We materialize adjacent to the target, and they gain 1 AI token. Oof. Let's lift this guy out of there and bang right on top of that Arcanthus there, probably. Yeah. We pass 1 age token over to Ori, and then there is an attack. This looks brutal. Speed 2, accuracy 2, 10 damage. What? Target cannot block this one, but we will be able to dodge. 2 speed. It'll be a 3+ thanks to an evasion. A 1 and a 10, only 1 hit, which means we are going to be able to dodge, and heck yes, we'll be doing that. All right, so Ori spends a survival to dodge, and we're going to roll to see if she gets it back. No, she does not. But here, for the rest of that, she's safe, meaning she doesn't cop the 10 damage, which is wonderful. Now, thanks to the Zeal trait, the Phoenix is now going to take a basic action. Closest threat, in range. Thank you, Ori. Let's move up there. Look at that face. Ugh. Anyway, target gains 1 age token. So now she's on 2. And it's a 2 speed, 3+ attack that does 2 damage. 2 hits, not good. Let's find out where. 1 to the head, 1 to the legs. Well, let's dodge that head's one there, and we'll cop the 2 to the legs. Now this costs us another survival, but I'm hoping we can get this one back. Let's roll, find out. And it's a 9, so we gain it back, and an additional 1, thanks to our Thrill Seeker fighting art. Back up to 3 survival, ah yeah. Finally, the Razor Wind pushes Ori right back up against the board's edge, and she suffers bash and bleed 1. Wow. All right, let's hope we can recover. We move into the survivor's activation. Now, I think we'll add the Lonely Tree in for a lovely bit of terrain. Chances are we're going to be moving this one on and off as the Phoenix wanders around, but I think it'll look pretty cool there for the time being. Now we are going to, ooh, this is tough. All right, first things first, let's get lucky. And we're going to move him into an attack position, but in a way that he's not going to be affected by the Chatter mood. All right, so let's push him up behind 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pushing through with all of his movement. We're going to do 2 things. First off, we are going to attack with the King's Spear. Now this is going to be 2 dice hitting on a 6+. 2 dice hitting on a 5+. Let's go for gold. A 3 and an 8, just 1 hit in there. So let's draw our hit location. And of course we get an impervious location. Maybe if we get a critical wound, we'll gain some resources, hoping for the best. 9 or 10. And it's a 1 and terrible. Ugh. All right, we'll finish off by spending a point of survival, and we'll encourage Ori to stand over here because we need her bowmanship. All right, with Ori standing, we now activate with her, and she's going to load up the catgut bow with a clawhead arrow in an attempt to, make it a little bit easier to target this thing, because right now, whoa, he's tough. This is going to hit on a 6+. 7, and we make it. We pull the hit location card, and this is the feathered neck. Absolutely no reflexes here. Wonderful. Now, with the strength of the clawhead arrow and also her natural strength, this is going to wound on a 3+. Oh, yes! Critical wound. Fantastic. Your blow damages this cervical vertebra, crippling the Phoenix's defenses. Gain 1 random Phoenix resource, and the Phoenix gains a -1 toughness token. Yes! So not only are we adding our -1 evasion, but also this -1 toughness token. Brilliant. As for our random Phoenix resources, we gain the Wishbone. Lovely. Now that's about as far as she needs to go, but we are going to use one of her survival again. Let's roll to see if she gets it back. And she does, gaining 2 more, bringing her back up to the max of 4. Now we want this activation so we can utilize the Whisker Harp, because I am not liking that new mood in play. We strum and we roll the dice. On a result of 6+, we discard the mood. A 7, and we make it. This thing goes into the AI discard pile, and we no longer have to fear that boundary around the Phoenix. All right, it's time for Puck to get in there. Now he's got enough movement to get into the blind spot of the Phoenix. Let me just move him up. Now Puck's attacking with the Butcher's Cleaver. This usually hits on a 5+, but it's a 4+ thanks to that evasion token. 2 dice, hope for the best. A 4 and a 10, that's 2 hits. We get the Glorious Crest, which has a wound reflex, and we have the Glorious Soft Belly, which also has a wound reflex. Wow. Now this one is pretty crazy. If the attacker has any age tokens, they suffer rewind. Well, thankfully he doesn't have any age tokens at the moment. Displacement. All right, we're gonna start with the Soft Belly. Let's roll. Now the Butcher's Cleaver has a strength of 5, which means we're on a 5+ to wound, but we've got the -1 toughness token, which brings it to a 4, and finally he has 1 point of strength, which brings it to a 3. Oh yeah, 3+ for the wound. A 9. Do we have any luck? We do not. Oh, so that is a wound. Let's find out what the reflex is. If the attacker has any age tokens, they suffer rewind. Thankfully, we do not yet, so we discard that hit location and the top AI card. We go to the Glorious Chest and we see how we go. And it's a 4, which is going to be a wound as well. Let's find out what this one does. Firstly, we turn to face the attacker. Yikes, that's scary. Next, we perform displacement. Place the Phoenix anywhere along the board edge furthest from the attacker. Whoa, that's crazy. If the attacker has any age tokens, they may attempt to follow the Phoenix by rolling 1d10. If the result is equal to or less than their hunt XP, place them in a free space adjacent to the Phoenix after it is placed. Otherwise, cancel all hits now out of range. Well, I don't have any age tokens, so I am going to have to place this Phoenix off into the distance. Good news is, though, we did manage to get the wound, so we discard another AI card. But where did the Phoenix go? all the way off in the distance over here. There is not much we can do about that. We have rain hanging out down the bottom here, but there's obviously the Phoenix is way out of range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can either move to the Arcanthus or move to the Nightmare Tree to harvest. Let's send her off to the tree and we roll a dice to harvest. An 8. We find decorative scrap, gain 1 broken lantern basic resource. There we go, another one for the collection, top notch. Actually, I think we've spent all of our ones so far. Anyway, still good to have. That's the end of the Survivor's activation. So the Phoenix draws his next card. What do we get? Analtorium. Hope I'm saying that right. Roll 1d10 on a result of 6+. A random survivor in the blind spot is pulled in. Nope, it's Analtorium. Oh man. Well, nobody is actually in the blind spot. That's pretty cool. If there was any, is that it? There's no instruction to do anything other than the pulled in stuff. So I think that's it for us, guys. Well, kinda. We still have that dang zeal trait. So the Phoenix performs a basic action. Closest threat in range. Now, the Phoenix has a range of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he is going to be able to get close enough to attack Rain. Right in there. Far out. That is cool. Okay, so the Phoenix attacks. Speed 2, 3+. An 8 and a 1. So just one hit. Whereabouts does it hit? The head. Ouch. Look at me go again. I will add the age token. Keep an eye on me here, guys. Where does she get it? In the waist. So we'll take that for the time being, because that is one of our heaviest armored locations there. Now, all that's left for us to do is resolve this Razor Wind thing, but check it out. All of the survivors, including Ori over here, are in, and that would be devastating to have every one of our survivors knocked down. So let's take this small break in the flow here as an opportunity to spend some survival and at least reposition ourselves so we can get some more attacks in. Now Ori will be the first to move. She'll spend her survival to dash. 2, 3, 4, 5. And she's going to move up next to the Arcanthus plant up here. Next up, we have Lucky and Puck. And they're really not in a great location as they are so close to each other here. So we're going to move, we'll move Puck 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to get him out of the way. Up here, that'll probably do. But Lucky here, we're going to take around the back of the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up there. You're not going to see him for a moment. Finally, we have Rain, and we're going to reposition her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just around side of the Phoenix. Now that everyone is clear from the Razor Wind, no one is affected, and we move into the Survivor's activation. Let's begin with Lucky behind the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, he's going to be right in the blind spot behind the Phoenix there. May not be a safe place knowing what some of these AI cards are capable of, but we're going to give it a red hot go. King Spear in hand. 2 dice, usually hitting on a 6. We're in the blind spot, so it's a 5, +1 accuracy for a 4, and -1 evasion for a 3. Let's do it. All right, we got a 6 and an... Oh, what is that? I have to roll that again. I was like, oh, it was on the Arcanthus over there. Cool. And a 2, no good. So 1 hit, and we pull the soft lower gut. The underside is pale and soft, -2 toughness to wound at this location. This attack is going to hit on a 2+. And a 3, so we just barely scrape in. But that is an AI card out of the way. You know what? We need to go all in. Let's spend one of Lucky's survival to surge, and that means another attack. 2 dice, 3 plus again. Oh, a 1 and a 9, so just 1 hit there. Where are we going? The glorious hands. You strike the monster's powerful digits. Cool. Wounding on a 4 plus. And we just barely scrape in with the 4 there. Another AI card gone. Right, let's continue with our onslaught. Alright, let's give Puck a go. And we're going to try and make use of his White Lion armor. And we're going to use his movement activation to pop him down right. Ooh. Well, he's going to be right in front of the Phoenix, but I'm thinking we're going to be able to do some pretty serious damage here, so let's hope for the best. We're going to spend a survival to dash, gaining that movement back, and then we're going to spend both his movement and activation to pounce, moving 3 spaces in the straight line. Now, when we activate here, we're going to gain +1 strength and +1 accuracy for our pounce. Not only that, we gain a bonus speed thanks to the White Lion armor set. This attack is going to be 4 speed, hitting on 5 plus. Let's hope for the best here. Oh, 4 hits, insane. What do we got? All right, we start off with an impervious location. And the feathered buttocks, the glorious head, and the feathered breast. Let's see what these are all about. Now, I have 3 locations that have a wound reflex with rewind. That's not good because unless we critical wound, the attack's not actually going to do damage and the monster is going to nick off completely. On top of that, we've got an impervious location, so, not good luck here. All right. Well, let's attempt the impervious location to see if we can get some resource here. A 1, of course not. But we do have 3, one other opportunity for a critical wound. Come on, come on, come on. No good, the feathered breast. Does it actually wound? Let's find out. So that would be considered a wound, but we rewind, undo the survivor's attack, restore any wounds or persistent injuries this attack caused to the monster. Place the survivor 5 spaces away. Oh, well, let's just put him, that's a good away. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pop him somewhere off into the distance. At least he's not going to be in the razor wind zone, hopefully. That's some pretty solid groundwork for Rain, though. And she's going to move into the monster's blind spot and attack with the Butcher's Cleaver. 2 dice, 3 plus. Oh. Alright, just the 1 hit there. Let's find out where. The Glorious Eye, another rewind location. Oh. How are we even dealing with this? It's going to wound on a 4 plus. Oh, take that. Critical wound all the way. The monster's eye bursts with milky ichor. An adjacent survivor gains +1 insanity and +1 survival. If they are insane, they may spend 3 survival to find deep inspiration in the taste and gain 1 random fighting art. Whoa. Alright, so we get the wound. That's brilliant. And we do have an adjacent survivor, Lucky. So he gains +1 insanity and +1 survival. Now that brings him up to 2 insanity, so he's not going to be able to taste the eye gunk, but, that's pretty cool. Alright, let's spend a survival to do that again. Rain drops down to 2 survival. We're back to 2 dice, hitting on 3s. An 8 and a 7, 2 hits there. We get the glorious handed feet and the glorious wing sphincter. Oh no. Alright. Let's go the glorious handed feet first. Wounding on a 3 plus. A 5 and we make it. It's another wound out.
Reflex is. The monster's glare pierces the survivor's puny mind, causing explosions of pain. Turn to face the attacker and roll 1d10. If the result is higher than the attacker's hunt XP, they suffer 1 brain damage for each age token they have. So we turn to face the attacker. Gonna have to get rid of this tree for a bit. And we roll. If we get higher than a 1, well, actually this won't really matter. We roll, we get higher, but we don't have any age tokens, so no damage is dealt. Nice work. Next, we roll for the glorious wing sphincter. And it's not a wound, so the reflex doesn't go off. Okay. Lastly, we have Ori with the bow. She's all the way out here, so I'm hoping we might be able to move her into a spot where she can fire off. She has a range of 6. Let's move in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're in range for our attack. So we use a survival to gain that movement point back, but let's also roll to see if we get the survival back. Yes, we do. Still at full. And we attack with the catgut bow. 2 dice, 6 plus. All right, just the 7, just the 1 hit in there. Let's see how we go. We get the feathered wing. Oh, this is another one of those Eye of the Storm moments. Let's see if we can roll to wound. Not sure that I want to. Wounding on a 5 plus. Hey, critical wound. Fantastic. All right. The Phoenix, so we make the wound, but we don't actually have to do the wound reflex here. The critical wound is the Phoenix gains a -1 movement token. Whoa. God, we are jagging this. Awesome. That's the survivor's turn done there, and might I say, we've done exceptionally well so far. This may be over if we can survive the next round. And we draw the AI card. Left wing strike. The target is the last threat to wound in range, and that is going to be Ori over here. The target gains 1 age token. She's now sitting on 3, and then we move and attack the target. Like that. 2 dice, 3 plus. 2 hits. Let's find out where. 1 to the chest, 1 to the arms. Ori will spend a point of survival to dodge, and we'll get rid of that chest, the body attack there. So we take the damage to the arms, and now she has no armor at that location. Finally, we resolve the Razor Wind, and that will be survivors in the blast zone, which will be here. So no one is actually in that location, so we're pretty safe. We move on and resolve the Zeal card here, performing a basic attack against the closest threat in range. They gain another age token, that's 4 for her. Not good. This is another 2 speed, 3 plus accuracy. An 8 and a 7, 2 hits. This is not good. 1 to the legs, 1 to the chest. We have to take both of these hits, and Ori gains a heavy wound at the legs location. The Razor Winds now go off, and survivors in the blast zone suffer knockback 7. Ori is right up against the board here. She gains another bleeding token as well. Now that's the end of the Phoenix activation, so we're back into the survivors go, and I think we might have this in the bag. I know Ori's down and she's down tough, but the other guys have a very strong ability to cause some wounds. Let's see how we go. Alright, so let's attack with Lucky and move him in just outside of point blank range. He's going to attack with the King's Spear. 2 speed, hitting on a 4 plus. 2 hits, alright. We gain the Inner Face, which has a death blow. That could potentially be amazing. And we also pull Time Stop. The survivors are frozen in time. All survivors are doomed. They cannot block or use fighting arts. Actually, we may get out of this. Lucky has the spear specialization, so we can roll to potentially discard it. We are going to need a 7+ though. A 9, we make it. And this is brilliant. We get to discard that trap location and pull a new hit location. And we get the glorious wing claws. This is not what we wanted to see far out. I actually don't want to wound that one. Let's go for the inner face first. Wounding on a 4+. And we do make it with the 9. You know what? That would have been a critical wound too. Oh, all right. Let's go for the glorious wing claws. Come on, no wound. A 4. It is a wound. The Phoenix blows everything away. Survivors in the Eye of the Storm gain +1 insanity. No one's there. All other survivors suffer knockback 7 and bash. Oh. Wow. The survivors go flying. And with that, there's nothing more the survivors can do because they're all knocked down. The Phoenix activates. We draw his next attack, and it's the Anal Torium. Well, thank goodness no one's in the blind spot again, so we can pretty much ignore that. The Phoenix basic action. Closest threat in range. No one is in range. No target. Disdain. This is not what we want. We place the Phoenix at the center of the nightmare tree. It emits a hissing moan. All non-deaf survivors suffer brain damage equal to the monster's level. Perform Spiral Age. Alright, back to the tree you go, man. He hisses. Here it is, Spiral Age. Remove all age tokens and gain 4 Hunt XP for each token. If you gain more Hunt XP than available Hunt XP boxes, you cease to exist. Oh. First, we'll do Puck, who gains 4 Hunt XP, pushing him past the first age milestone. And we'll do that in just a moment. Next up, we come to Ori, who's done so well, but she has 4 tokens, which means she gains 16 Hunt XP, and that is too many. Hi, I'm Michael from Bits of Board, and you've just heard me say that Ori's going to get, 16 Hunt XP? Well, I, for some reason, threw in Rain's token with Ori's tokens. So she didn't actually have 4 tokens, she only had 3. And I kind of didn't pick this up until the very end. In fact, I had to re-record how we were dishing out all of our rewards. Yay. Anyway, ignore that little bit. I think I've cut everything up to make sense. Apologies if it doesn't, but yeah, back to the show. We continue. At the end of the monster's activation, our remaining survivors stand. Ori nowhere to be seen. Lucky will activate first, and he is going to run at the Phoenix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into here, and he's going to use his dash. Do we have the survival? Yes, we do. And he dashes 3, 4, 5, 6 right behind the Phoenix, attacking with his King's Spear. 2 dice, 3+. A 7 and a 7. That is 2 hits. There we go. Let's find out where, firstly, the glorious armpit, and secondly, the feathered body. Now, the feathered body has +2 toughness. So that might be a pretty tricky one to wound. We'll try it first because there's no reflex. So this is actually going to be a 6+ to wound.
No good with a 4, so we discard that hit location and we go for the Glorious Armpit. This has a failure on it, so we need to wound on the 4+. A 7, and we do make it. Fantastic. We discard an AI card. Lucky's not done with it yet. We pull another survival to surge. 2 dice, 3+. 2 hits. Where are we going? The Hard Beak, which is a super dense location. It has a reflex too. We also get the Feathered Back. Now this has displacement, so let's try and go this Hard Beak first. And we do make it with that 4. Fantastic. Now it has a reflex hit. Firstly, we'll discard the AI card. And then the reflex. The monster's glare pierces the survivor's puny mind, causing explosions of pain. We've seen this before. Turn to face the attacker and roll 1d10. If the result is less than the attacker's hunt XP, they suffer 1 brain damage. Oh no, less than. Alright. They suffer 1 brain damage for each age token they have. Well, unfortunately for him, Lucky has no age tokens, so that's not going to do anything. We move to the Feathered Back. Rolling. And we get a 9, which is brilliant because Lucky has a luck. That is a critical wound here. The Phoenix suffers 1 extra wound and stumbles. Move it 1 place forward. You know what, guys? That's going to do it. We remove our last card from the AI discard pile, and that is it. That extra wound that we get from this critical wound is enough to call it. The Phoenix is dead. And here we have our successful hunting party having overcome their very first Phoenix. This is brilliant. Now, as always, taking on a monster, we get to reap the rewards. So we move into the Aftermath section of the showdown. Now, for a level 1 or 2 Phoenix, we gain +1 Hunt XP, 1 weapon proficiency level, and some rewards. Now, this reminds me, I didn't actually do the age events from those age tokens that we gained and were unleashed against us. So let's go ahead and do them now. Now, Puck, including the Hunt XP he gained from defeating the Phoenix, he is going to be up to 6 Hunt XP, which means he crosses the 2nd age milestone. So we're going to go ahead and roll for them. We'll begin with his weapon proficiency level and an 11, so he's going to be gaining a fighting art. Let's see what we get. And we gain the Strategist Fighting Art. Fantastic. This is by far one of my favorite fighting arts. If you can get an archer on top, this is the one that brings that giant stone face or toppled pillar onto the battlefield. Looks like we've found ourselves a new archer, right? Not that Ori did a bad job. We'll get there. Anyway, so that's brilliant. Now we're going to roll for his improved reflexes. See how we go. And that is 8, which means he's going to gain +1 permanent strength. That is brilliant. So I'll mark that on. All right. Now, Rain also crosses the first 2 age milestones. So we'll first roll for her weapon proficiency level. And that is a 10. So she's going to be gaining a random fighting art. Let's see how she goes. Shuffle them all back in. I don't enjoy grabbing the fighting arts because I have to put everything back in the deck, take all my little reminder cards away. And she gains the Monster Claw style. So this is only really a useful one for Fist and Tooth. And I don't think, well, I didn't think that's how I was going to build her, so that's a shame. But we shall see. All right, next we'll roll for her improved reflexes. 20, oh! I have never done that before, guys. With that roll, she's going to gain +1 speed. Oh, it's like an extra attack. Every attack, I love it. All right, over to Lucky, who just gains the 1 hunt XP, but that's enough to move him up to improved reflexes. So we'll roll for him, and that's an 8 there, and he gains +1 permanent strength. Man, he's getting strong in his age. Brilliant. Now, last but not least, we've got Ori, who with her 3 age tokens gained a total of 12 hunt XP, plus the 1 she gains from this. She has actually cleared all of her age events. She's just got the retired one left, so she has 1 hunt left. This is insane. Let's roll and see what she gets for everything, I guess. We'll start with her improved reflexes, and we get 16, which is a random fighting art. Let's see what we get. And we go for Berserker. All right. That's a classic one. I don't mind that. Frenzy, brilliant. Next, we move to Enhanced Senses. What? Bang. How is this even possible? 2 20s. All right. That is +3 permanent strength. Oh, that's a bit of a waste here, guys, but she's now on 5 strength with 1 battle left in her. That's insane. And lastly, we've got the Lucky Elder. Oh, hoping for a mid-range roll here. 10, yes. Gain +1 permanent luck. Wow. Too bad that she's only got the 1 hunt left. All right, let's hope there's a way to keep her around, but for the moment, that is all the age milestones. Back we go to the aftermath. We gain 1 weapon proficiency level for everyone who hit. So Ori and Lucky, I think, were the only 2 that had reached their first age milestone. So we gain +1 for the bow. Very nice. And Lucky gains +1 for the spear. Brilliant. Next, we grab our rewards. For this one, we gain 4 basic resources. So we go the Monster Bone, Broken Lantern, Love Juice, and the Monster Hide. There they are. Lovely. All right, so let's grab our Phoenix resources. We've got the Merculent Droppings, the Tail Feathers, the Black Skull, and the Hollow Wing Bones. There they are. I really do love the artwork on these guys. Awesome. So that's pretty much it. We just have one more thing to do, and what could that be? Lucky takes us on over to the King's Curse. Let's roll, see what he gets. And we roll. And it's the chest, I think. He's already got the chest, is that what it is? Certainly is. So we're gonna have to roll this one again. Waist location.
Your thigh bones expand and hollow, while the flesh from your legs packs itself inside the bone. The pain is exquisite.
And we gain the Regal Folds, another 4 armor for the waist location, but just like the chest armor, cursed and initiates the King's Curse. All right, so that's it for our courageous survivors going up against a bird beast such as this. Let's send them on home. All right, so our survivors return on home, bringing with them an endeavor for everyone who's survived. Hopefully we get a chance to spend them a little bit wiser than last time. Well, it was probably all right last time, but anyway. We move into the update timeline section, and this is where I start to get a little bit scared. So we are in a Lantern Year 9, guys. This is very cool. We do have a story event and some milestone events. So let's begin with our story event. See what we get. Bang. Nickname again. All right, well, this is kind of cool because we have 3 survivors that don't have nicknames. This is so much better than murder, guys. All right, so we're going to start. If you've not seen the earlier videos, I'm just going to read this one out for you. Every returning survivor gets a nickname. This isn't very informative. Fine. All right, so every survivor gets a nickname. So we're going to roll through our guys. Firstly, we have Puck. And we have to roll once on each of these. And this is only good stuff unless we roll ones, right? Here we go. Puck gets a 3. He is the Dingle. What's his second part? A 10. The Dingle Hero. He gains +1 strength. Geez, he really likes that nickname. And we roll for the third part, an 8. Dingle Hero of the Antelope. That's nice and fun. All right, let's roll for Rain. She is the Wise Sneak of the Antelope. That's pretty solid. Now, Lucky already has one. He's the Wise Hero of the Lantern. He did very well with his rolls. So last but not least, we have Ori. Let's see how she goes. We get a 3, the Dingle. Dingle Savior. Cool. Dingle Savior of the Lion. All right, pretty solid stuff. We don't have Pictograph, but if we did have Pictograph, we would be able to spend our endeavors renaming survivors again. But alas, not today. What's next? Oh, yeah, that's okay. It's just the Nemesis encounter for the King's Man, level 1. Are we ready this time? I certainly hope so. That means once we get to this 9th step here, the special showdown, we're going to send our survivors off to take on the King's Man again. And I'll bet he is still fuming about our last encounter. Not only that though, guys, we have the Hooded Knight. So a little while ago, we had a visitor to the settlement, the Hooded Knight, who brought their Twilight Sword and gifted it over to our current leader, Bastion. Now, Bastion's had a little bit of experience with it now, so let's see what this encounter is all about. All right, if any survivor has the Twilight Sword, and they do, they duel the knight. Oh no. Bastion. This is going to be crazy. Let me move these endeavors out of the way. Lay this guy down. The Hooded Knight confronts the bearer of the Twilight Sword. They roll on the table, add +1 to the result for each Twilight Sword weapon proficiency level. Now, if I've been counting correctly, we have 3 levels of Twilight Sword proficiency, so we gain +3 to whatever we roll here. This is going to be epic. Let's see how we go. Oh, big one, big roll. Gain 2 levels of weapon proficiency, 1 insanity and 1 survival. Man, that is very cool. So, the knight has unfinished business. We add the Hooded Knight to the timeline 4 years from now. Cool. What a great event. I'm loving this. All right. We continue on. So we've updated the timeline. We update the death count. Nothing to worry about there. And we're on to development. Now, I'm not going to lie. We have a ton of resources to play around with again. So let me have a look at what we've got and what we want to do. I'll come right on back. Now, just before we go ahead and spend all of our new resources, at the end of the last hunt, I actually forgot to resolve the Hoarder disorder here. And this was for Bastion. We gave it to him as a part of his, whole murder event thing. And this has a little marker. Whenever you are a returning survivor, which he was, you have to archive 1 resource gained from the last showdown and gain +1 courage. So I thought we should probably do that before I go ahead and spend resources I don't have. I'm going to get rid of the monster organ, but I also wanted to check with you guys. Is it worth consuming this to get a parasite? Is that going to be of any benefit to anyone ever? I just want to kind of know that. Because if that is the case, then I would like to rescind that decision and we'll put in maybe Screaming Brain or something like that. But if you guys say that, nope, parasite is not worth holding on to, or the monster organ is not worth holding on to for the parasite, then I will just spend that. Okay? So Bastion gains 1 courage. Nothing new happens there, so we're all good. Right. Let's spend some stuff. So to begin with, where did I put it? Here we go. We're going to spend 1 endeavor and 1 beast steak, monster hide, and monster bone. And yes, we are going to innovate. So let's grab the innovation deck. All right, here is our deck. I'm going to shuffle that up and we're going to draw 4 and pick 1. We get drums, storytelling, sacrifice, and scarification. Now, scarification is we're going to be spending an endeavor and rolling that hit location dice and gaining things or not, gaining good things or bad things. I don't think I want to go this. I think I already know what I want to go. But what else we got? Sacrifice. So we can spend an endeavor here to perform a death ritual. We roll a dice. On a 1, we suffer pointless death, -2 population. 2 to 3, we get a screamer, -1 population, and departing survivors gain a bunch of insanity. In 4 to 5, we get inhuman, -1 population, departing survivors lose all insanity. And a 6+, we move the Nemesis encounter Watcher 1 year back on the timeline, -1 population. No? Unless there are sacrifice consequences, but I don't think I'm ever going to go that one just yet. We have storytelling, which is survival limit +1. Oh yes. We spend 2 endeavors here. We can potentially gain understanding, bunch of insanity, or we can initiate the white speaker event and we gain all the storytelling consequences. I really like that. And then we've got drums. We can spend an endeavor to perform bone beats, gaining insanity, gaining survival, or gaining some secret fighting arts, and we gain more consequences. As great as drums might be, and as much of a gambler as scarification would encourage out of me, I think we're going to have to go storytelling here. So we add that into our deck of wonderful innovations, and we add all of the new innovations to our draw deck. All right, on with the spending. So we're going to jump over to the leather worker and we're going to drop an endeavor at the leather making station there. Now I could go ahead and count out exactly how many hide I want to turn to leather and how many I want to actually leave as hide, but just for the moment, I'm not going to. My brain is tired. So let's just say I'm turning the required number of hide into leather and leaving the rest, right? With that, we're going to do some crafting. We're going to create 1 piece of armor, the Leather Curious, and this is going to cost 1 of our shank bones that we've had from one of the antelope encounters and 1 of our questionable resource that we're turning from hide into leather using our wonderful leather making ability there. So this is going to be good. We're going to start armoring up our ranged attackers, I believe, because I think we've got 3 full sets of armor going on at the moment, which is sweet. We're also going to craft 2 whole round leather shields. And that is going to cost us 2 leather, which I crafted out of these tail feathers. Go me. 2 hide, which I've got here, a monster hide and some tail feathers. And also 2 bones, which I've got a wishbone and a monster bone here. So that is going to give us some much needed protection in the upcoming special showdown. These grant 1 armor to all hit locations, and we may spend an activation to ignore 1 hit. That's as long as we've got the activation. Anyway, so that is really cool for us. All right, I think that's all of the leather working stuff we'll be doing. Now we are going to head over to the stone circle as well to grab this red charm because I worked out I'm going to need it. This costs 3 organs, so I have 2 of our mucculent droppings and some love juice. And this guy here grants us a red affinity off the bat. Brilliant. But if we manage to ever get 5 red affinity, we gain unstoppable, which is super powerful. I don't like our odds just yet though. Okay, so we're also going to head over to the Bonesmith. I've just been holding on to this skull for far too long with every intention of cashing it in to gain this skull helm. I don't really need it for any particular reason, but it looks pretty cool, and so we may as well hand it over to somebody. And for our last bit of gear, we're going to head to the Plumery. Now, it's tough. This armor is actually going to be really tricky to put together. We need we need very specific resources from the Phoenix, as well as leather and iron and stuff like that. So I went down and had a look at some of the bonus equipment, which is also really expensive. But I found something that I could afford and something that I really wanted. These hollow point arrows. They cost 1 hollow wing bone. Where are you? There you are. And 1 scrap, which I'm going to cash in that broken lantern there. And are you ready for this? Bam! Yes, it's slow, and you only get to roll 1 dice. It hits on a 6+, but 11 strength. If I learned one thing from attacking with that bow in the last hunt, was that, man, strength is just integral to this thing. Because, yeah, I could hit, roll the dice, roll twice, but the strength of 3 on that bow sucks. I would rather guarantee 1 hit than have a slight chance at a couple, So yeah, that's how I thought we'd go there. Oh yeah, and as a bonus, if it manages to hit, it's a -1 movement token as well. Booyah. All right, so that's all of our gear that we're going to be crafting there. We still do have 2 endeavors here. And we're obviously going to head over to the shrine and hope to God we get a 4+ here. So let's spend that on an armor ritual. Let's see how we roll. A 9. Brilliant. Final adjustments. Departing survivors add 1 armor to all hit locations. Yes. Now we've still got 1 of these guys left. And thanks to Ori, we can pretty much grant 1 hunt XP to anyone we want. Stone noses, of course. Let's get 1 of those back with this guy. There we go. Now, I'm not sure we're actually going to be using this guy again because our gear grids are getting very, very full, but I would rather have it and not need it than not have it and want it. All right, with that done, we've finished developing. We now prepare our departing survivors, and that is where we're going to call it for today. We are going to be taking on the King's Man level 1 again, and if this has... this is going to test us. Hopefully I get this one right. Last time I managed to stuff up a fair chunk of rules, but I'm thinking we're in with a shot this time. So let's see how we go. And there it is. We managed to take down the Phoenix, and I am super happy, even just blown away by the fact that we didn't actually lose Ori there. My heart truly sunk, and I came up with this really cool little story where Ori just kind of like was ground to dust kind of thing, and all the other guys, they were knocked down so they didn't see it. When they got up, they were like, where's Ori? Anyway, we don't have to feel that sad today. Everyone survived. Ori's really old now, but that's cool. She's just gonna get murdered. Anyway, I had an absolute blast putting this one together. The Phoenix is such a fun fight, and I learned so much just in that one fight, like what to do next time. Oh, it's I'm pretty pumped, to say the least, for this continued journey, as always, of course, right? Now, what's on the horizon for us? Straight up, next episode is going to be the King's Man level 1, and it's going to give me a chance to redeem myself in this battle. I kind of know what we're up against here, but last fight we had with him didn't really explore the absolute brutality of this encounter, and I am so excited to get into this. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for another hell of an encounter coming up, guys. Very excited indeed. So on that note, we'll call it for the evening. As always, guys, I want to thank you very, very much for watching these things. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to see more, like and subscribe and do all that stuff. I absolutely love this community. I always say this stuff. Anyway, you know how I feel about this. I'll see you all next week for our next encounter. Very excited for this. As always, guys, my name's Michael. This is Bits Aboard. We'll catch you next time.